For many industrial applications, it is necessary to control the speed of DC motors. In this video, we will study different methods used for speed control of DC shunt motors. We know that speed of DC motor is directly proportional to the back EMF EB and it is inversely proportional to the flux phi. So N is proportional to EB upon phi and back EMF EB is given by V minus IaRa. So N is proportional to V minus IaRa upon phi. So from this equation, the methods of speed control are: first is by changing the resistance of armature circuit, that is Ra. So here Ra is the resistance of armature. Now if additional resistance is connected in series with armature, its resistance will change. And by changing Ra, we can control the speed. So this method, it is called as rheostatic control. Or we can change the voltage applied, that is V. So by changing this voltage V, we can control the speed N. So it is called as voltage control method. And third way is to vary the flux phi. Now flux phi can be varied by changing the current flowing through the field winding, that is IF. So if field current is changed, we can change flux per pole phi, and if phi is changed, we can control N. So this method is called as flux control. So basically the speed of DC motor can be controlled by rheostatic control, by voltage control, or by flux control. Let us now see the first method of speed control, that is rheostatic control method. So in this case, a variable resistance called as controller resistance, it is connected in series with armature, whereas field winding is connected directly across the supply. Now in this case, the supply voltage V is normally constant. So this voltage V, it is normally constant. Now the voltage across armature, it can be changed by changing the value of controller resistance. So if this resistance is changed, we can change the voltage which is applied across the armature. Now suppose the controller resistance is at minimum position. That means the value of controller resistance is equal to 0. Now here the resistance of armature circuit is R plus Ra. Now in this case R is equal to 0. So voltage drop in R is also equal to 0. So full voltage V is applied across the armature and it is the rated voltage. So if we keep controller resistance at its minimum position, then the armature will be supplied with rated voltage V. Now the field winding is connected directly across V. So current in the field winding ISH, it is also rated and therefore flux produced is also normal. And as the flux is normal, voltage across armature is rated voltage, the motor will run at normal or rated speed. So this is the normal or rated speed of motor. So the motor will run at this speed if this controller resistance R is equal to 0. Because at that time armature voltage is V rated and current in field winding is also rated. Now if resistance of this external resistance, if it is increased, let us see what happens. So when resistance is increased, voltage drop across this resistance will also increase, and the voltage across armature will decrease. Now if load torque is constant, you know that speed of motor is directly proportional to the voltage across armature, and therefore with increase in resistance there is decrease in voltage across armature, and speed of motor will also decrease. So at rated speed this resistance is minimum. When the resistance is increased, voltage across armature, this voltage will reduce and speed of the motor will also reduce. So speed goes on reducing as controller resistance is increased. Now in this case, you have to note that we cannot reduce the speed down to 0, because in that case the value of controller resistance will be very large, and practically it is not possible to connect such a large resistance in series with armature, and therefore we can obtain the speeds below normal speed but not up to the 0 speed with the help of this rheostatic control method. Let us now see the rheostatic control method operation with the help of speed torque characteristic of DC motor. We have studied the speed torque characteristic of motor, and we have seen that the characteristic is drooping, means as torque increases speed decreases. Now here suppose there is no load on the motor, means if the load on the motor is equal to 0, then the motor will operate at a speed say n0. So n0 is the speed of motor at no load. Now if the value of external resistance R is 0 and if load on the motor is increased, what will happen? So as load increases, the speed decreases and the characteristic is drooping. So if the load torque is TL, and with this characteristic of motor, when controller resistance is equal to 0, the motor will run at speed n1. Now if the resistance of this controller resistance is increased, what will happen? Then the droop in the characteristic will be more. So if the resistance is changed to R1 and R1 is greater than 0, so the droop in characteristic will change, and if load torque is constant, speed of motor will reduce. So speed of motor will reduce to N2. So with increase in controller resistance, the speed of motor will decrease. Now if the resistance is increased further, say to R2, then again the motor speed will reduce to N3. So here N3 is less than N2 and N2 is less than N1, and here resistance R2 is greater than R1. So as we increase the resistance, speed goes on reducing, and when the resistance is equal to 0, the motor will operate at rated speed. Means with the help of rheostatic control method, one important point you have to note is we can obtain only those speeds which are below the rated speed of motor. So only the speeds below normal or below rated can be obtained with the help of rheostatic control method. One major drawback of rheostatic control method is speed of motor cannot be controlled from 0 to maximum. In With the help of this potential divider control method, speed of motor can be controlled from 0 to rated value. So here the voltage across armature can be varied with the help of this potential divider. So using this divider, it is possible to change the voltage from 0 to maximum. So when the divider is at start position, means at minimum position, the voltage across armature will be equal to 0. So if voltage across armature is 0, speed of motor N is also equal to 0. So when the armature voltage is 0, speed is also equal to 0. Now as the potential divider is moved towards maximum position, the voltage across armature goes on increasing and therefore speed also increases. So as we increase the armature voltage, speed of motor goes on increasing. Now when the potential divider position is at maximum, then the voltage applied across armature will be of rated value, and therefore in this case the motor will run at its rated speed. So when armature voltage is of rated value, speed of motor N will be rated speed of motor. So we can control the speed from 0 to rated speed with the help of armature voltage control, and armature voltage can be changed from 0 to maximum with the help of this potential divider. Voltage will be 0 when the potential divider is at start position, and it will be maximum when it is at maximum position. In this case also you have to note that the speed can be controlled up to rated speed only. We cannot obtain speeds above normal. Then second thing you have to note is, ideally the curve should be like this dotted line, but practically it is according to this solid line, because some armature voltage is essential to overcome inertia and friction. So inertial and frictional torque is overcome with the help of this armature voltage, and because of that the curve will not start from origin, but it will start from this point. And as we increase the voltage across armature, speed goes on increasing, and when the voltage is rated, speed is also rated. Let us now see advantages and disadvantages of armature voltage control. So first advantage is the method is very simple and it is possible to control the speed smoothly from 0 to maximum. Then the second advantage is controller resistance can also be used as a starter. Means this controller resistance can be used to limit the high starting current. Then there are disadvantages also. First is the armature current, it is high as compared to the field current, and current flowing through controller resistance is the armature current, and because of large current flowing through the controller resistance, large amount of power will be wasted in the form of heat due to I square R power loss in the controller resistance. Then as the current is large and large heat is produced, the size and rating of controller must be large. Then this method we can use only for speeds below the rated speed of motor. It is not possible to obtain speeds above normal with the help of armature voltage control. And because of the large size and rating of control resistance and large power loss, the efficiency of this method is low and the method is not economical. Next method for speed control of DC motors is flux control method. Now in this case, the armature is connected directly across the rated voltage supply. So voltage across armature is the supply voltage V, whereas the field winding is connected in series with the field rheostat. And therefore by changing the value of this field rheostat, we can change the current ISH which is flowing through the field winding. And if ISH is changed, flux produced by field winding will also change. And therefore it is possible to change the flux phi by changing this field rheostat. Now suppose the field rheostat is at minimum position. So if this resistance is equal to 0, then current in the field winding ISH will be maximum and this will be the rated current. At the same time, the voltage across the armature, it is also rated. So here the field current is rated as well as the voltage across armature is rated, and therefore motor will run at rated speed. So when the field current is maximum, then the motor will run at rated speed. Now if this resistance is increased, so as field rheostat is increased, current through the field winding will reduce. So with reduction in ISH, flux phi also decreases. And we know that speed of motor N is proportional to 1 upon phi. That is, N is inversely proportional to flux. So as phi decreases, speed increases. So with decrease in field current, the speed of motor goes on increasing. And for very low values of field currents, the speed may become dangerously high. So here you have to remember one thing, that the resistance connected in series with the field winding of DC motor, initially it should be kept at minimum so that current in the field winding will be maximum. And if this current is maximum, speed will be minimum. And as we increase the field rheostat, speed goes on increasing. Means as we increase the field rheostat, ISH will reduce, phi will reduce, and speed will increase. So at the time of starting, this rheostat must be kept at minimum. Otherwise, there is a risk of rotation of motor at dangerously high speed. In flux control method, field rheostat is connected in series with the field winding, in which the current flowing is ISH, which is very low as compared to armature current IE. And as ISH is relatively small, the loss of power in field rheostat, that is ISH square into R, is small as compared to the armature voltage control method, and therefore this method of speed control is more efficient and more economical as compared to the first method, that is armature voltage control method. But the drawback is, in this case, only speeds above normal or rated speed can be obtained. So here When the field rheostat is at minimum position, speed will be maximum and it is the speed will be minimum and it is the rated speed. As we increase the resistance, current decreases, flux decreases, and speed increases. And therefore, speeds above normal can only be obtained by this method. Now, in this case, we can obtain very high speeds and we can obtain or we can increase the speed in the ratio of 2:1 if the machine is non-interpolar, means machine without interpoles. Now, if the interpoles are not fitted, then because of excessive weakening of flux, the commutation will not be proper and there will be heavy sparking at the brushes. And therefore, in case of non-interpolar machines, the speed can be increased in the ratio 2:1. If the machine is fitted with interpoles, so in machines with interpoles, we can go up to higher speed, and in this case, the speed can be increased in the ratio 6:1 or even more than that. So if the machine is fitted with interpoles, we can increase the speed in the ratio of 6:1 with the help of flux control method. Now let us solve few numerical problems on speed control of DC shunt motors. So example 1, a 250 volt DC shunt motor means V is given as 250 volt running at 1200 RPM. So in the first case, N1 is equal to 1020 RPM and is drawing armature current of 20 ampere, means IA1 is equal to 20 ampere. It is required to reduce the speed to 1000 RPM. So N2 is equal to 1000 RPM. So we want to reduce the speed of motor from 1200 RPM to 1000 RPM. What must be the value of external resistance inserted, that means R external, in the armature circuit if the original armature resistance is 0.3 ohm, means RA1 is 0.3 ohm, and in the second case external resistance is inserted in armature and therefore RA2 is equal to zero point 0.3, that is armature resistance plus R external ohm. So what should be the value of R external if the speed is to be reduced from 1200 to 1000 RPM? That we have to calculate. Now we can calculate the back EMF in the first case. So EB1 is equal to V minus IA1 into RA1. So V is 250, IA1 is 20 and RA1 is 0.3. So EB1 is equal to 244 volt. Now we can calculate EB2. Now EB2 is equal to V minus IA2 into RA2. Now RA2 is 0.3 plus R external and IA2 is equal to IA1 because here it is given that consider armature current to be constant during this process and therefore IA2 is also equal to 20 ampere. So EB2 is V minus IA2 into RA2, which is equal to 250 minus 20 into zero point 0.3 plus R external. Now we know the relation between N2 and N1. So N2 upon N1 is equal to EB2 upon EB1 into Phi1 upon Phi2. But in this case, field winding is connected directly across supply. So field current is constant in both the cases, and therefore phi 2 is equal to phi 1. So if phi 2 is equal to phi 1, N2 upon N1 will be equal to EB2 upon EB1. Now we can substitute all the values. So N2 is 1000 and N1 is 1200. Then EB2, it is 250 minus 20 into zero point 0.3 plus R external, and EB1 is 244 volt. So we can solve this for R external, and we will get R external as 2.03 ohm. It means that if a resistance of 2.03 ohm is connected in series with armature, then speed of motor will reduce from 1200 to 1000 rpm. Let us solve second numerical problem. A 250 volt DC shunt motor means supply voltage V is equal to 250 volt. Shunt motor means armature and field are connected in parallel. Has armature resistance of 0.25 ohm means Ra is equal to 0.25 ohm. On load, it takes an armature current of 50 ampere, means Ia1 is equal to 50 ampere, and runs at 750 rpm, means N1 is equal to 750 rpm. If the flux of motor is reduced by 10%, means in the second case the flux is reduced by 10%, and therefore phi 2 is equal to 0.9 into phi 1. Phi 1 is the flux in the first case. Without changing the load torque, means load torque TL is kept constant. Find the new speed, means we have to calculate N2 of the motor. So here the flux control method is used and the flux is reduced by 10%. What will be the new speed? But while changing this flux, torque is maintained constant. So we know the expression for torque. TA is proportional to phi into Ia. So in the first case, TA1 is proportional to phi 1 into I1, Ia1, and TA2 is proportional to phi 2 into Ia2. And these two torques are equal. TA1 is equal to TA2. So we can equate these two. So TA1 is equal to TA2, and therefore phi 1 Ia1 is equal to phi 2 Ia2. So phi 1 into Ia1 is 50, phi 2 is 0.951 into Ia2. So from this we get Ia2 as 55.56 ampere. Means if the flux is reduced by 10%, we have to increase the armature, means armature current will increase from 50 to 55.56, so that the load torque is constant. Now EB1 is V minus Ia1 into Ra1. So substituting the values of V, then Ia1 and Ra1, we get EB1 as 237.5 volt. Then EB2 is equal to V minus Ia2 into Ra2. Now Ia2 is 55.56 and Ra2 and Ra1 are same. So EB2 is equal to 236.11. Now we know the expression for N2 upon N1, which is equal to EB2 upon EB1 into phi 1 upon phi 2. but phi 2 is 0.9 into phi 1. So substituting these values, we get N2 upon N1 is equal to EB2 upon EB1 into phi 1 upon 0.9 phi 1. So solving for N2, we get N2 is equal to 828.46 rpm. Means the speed of motor will increase from 750 rpm to 828.46 rpm if the flux is reduced by 10%, keeping load torque constant. Thank you. In our next video, we will study speed control of DC series motors.